Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to See Sonic, the movie podcast, and we're back, and we can tell you about how our concerts went.
Yes. Yes, we can.
Yes, starting off with the biggest one of all, we saw Beyonce.
Yes, we
Amazing,
did.
incredible.
Incredible.
Oh no,
Everything I thought it would be.
exactly. So much fun. Much fun.
We were we were a good crowd, I would say.
We're a good
We did
crowd.
get technical issues.
We
Um
did.
so we got that one girl on TikTok, if you know who I'm talking about. She does those little skits where whenever something goes wrong in a city at a concert, she like recreates it. She asks for the water bottle. You know her.
Yeah, her. Yeah.
I was when the technical issues happened, immediately I turned to Jordan. I'm like, I cannot wait for her to make a video about this. And she did. She popped up on my FYP the next morning after the show, and we're all like, "Oh my
She was
gosh!"
quick with it. Yeah.
She was very quick with it. But yeah, we had the sound go out at our show.
hmm
But
She
other
popped
than
out.
that,
She came back though. She came
oh, she
back.
did, and she came back with a statement. She had her wings on.
She came back. She came back with a vengeance.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. I do have some words for Miss Beyonce though.
Okay.
How dare you perform thick all up in your mind and drunken love for LA, especially after that abysmal mute challenge.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me?
They didn't deserve
Like,
it.
like our mute wasn't perfect in any aspect of the way, but we were
It
way
wasn't.
better. We were
We
way
were
better than
we were
LA.
quiet for a good 10 seconds,
Yeah,
and then some random people started yelling on the left, and I was like, no.
yeah.
It was pretty quiet though. It got real quiet for
It was
for
it
a
was
good amount
quiet
of
at the
time.
beginning. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Like it could have been better,
no,
but I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad. Yeah, so that was amazing. And then we saw Coco Jones, my
Yes,
future
we did.
wife,
Mm-hmm.
and she pointed at me.
Yes, you did.
She did. She was singing
Yes, she
"Spend
did.
It," and she was like, "I spend it all on you," and
Spend
she
it on
pointed at
you.
me.
Yes, she did.
She pointed at me. So
I was there. I saw it.
yeah,
We're not
I
going to
was
talk
in.
about the other man that she pulled on stage because.
No, we're not. But
Mm-mm.
that's fine. Whatever. But yeah, I was so in awe that I did not take a single photo, a single video.
Nope. She killed it.
My my phone did not come out, but it's okay. I have the memory of it.
Yes. Yeah. We got one picture before the concert started with just us two and the friend that came out. And that's about it.
That's it. That's
That is
it.
it.
Yeah.
Good concert though. And it started on time, which
It started on time, like on
I know
like
it's
the clock
I know it's a
hit 8,
smaller
and
show. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. She was out there.
she was out there
I
when
was
the
very
clock hit
surprised.
8. hmm
Hmm. Hmm.
we left at a
Incredible.
reasonable hour.
Yes, we did. And you know what? We were exhausted.
Yeah, so it was much needed.
Hmm. Let me just tell y'all, we are not meant for nightlife.
Mm-mm.
Us three are not meant for nightlife. So staying out until what 12 something for Beyonce, and then coming back to the house at one something,
One ish, yeah.
one ish. That was a lot for us.
hmm
And so to come back and be in the house at what 11,
Yeah.
we
Your
were
mom
like,
was
what a
still up watching
miracle.
TV when we came
Yeah,
back.
yeah. So that's how we knew it wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was both nights were fun. And then we saw drunk Shakespeare, which
hmm
was amazing.
And I got drunk.
Yes, he did.
That was not the purpose of drunk Shakespeare, but it
It
happened.
wasn't. but it happened.
But it happened.
And I cannot believe what you drank because it just smelled so rank. It smelled
Oh,
awful.
yeah, I had a whiskey flight. Like, one of the whiskeys was really good. The rest of them weren't that great. One of them was undrinkable.
Yeah.
Quite literally,
Well,
like
I
I
think the
paid
one that
$50.
the last one you drank, I feel like you shouldn't even done that one because that
I
one's
shouldn't have that.
straight up like acetone.
That one was also gross, but I was like
Yeah.
trying to force myself to drink them because I paid $50
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
it. So I was like, I can do this. I can do this. I could not do the last one.
No.
And then I was gonna like force myself at like the end of the show to just like throw it
Down it.
back. But then luckily, like the one of the waitresses came over. She's like, "Are you done with this?" I was like, "Yes, please,
Yeah. He's like,
please take
yes, please
this."
take it away. Yep. Yep. And then we got McDonald's out of the whole ordeal, so it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
so bad.
Wasn't
Was
so
not
bad
so
at
bad.
all.
But yeah, very busy weekend, very fun weekend.
Yeah. Okay, Kelly. What about the rest of your week? Anything else happen?
Um. Oh my gosh! I finally had my end of probation meeting with my supervisor.
Almost a year in. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Apparently, like he scheduled it like right when I came back to work, and then like he pushed it another couple days, and I was like, at this point, I feel like it's never going to happen. And then it finally did. I was very surprised, but I'm very happy about it. There are also some more money coming my way eventually, and I'm very excited about
Yay!
that. So yes, I'm very excited about that. Other than that, my work week was actually pretty slow, which I appreciated
Mm.
because I was kind of wrecked after that weekend. So I appreciated the slower work week. I think there was only one day where like two people were out and we were like actually busy that day, but other than that, I was chilling, straight chilling.
I love that for you.
Me too. How was your week?
um,
Uh
not great, but not completely awful, but not great. I
oh.
am planning my exit of this job
As you
because
should.
I don't know what's happened. I don't know where this switch up came from. I quite
What had
honestly
happened?
don't. Yeah, it started happening like a month or two ago. I don't know what's
Mm.
going on. I quite literally don't know what's going on, but I'm not going to stand for this. Honestly, I kind of just want to turn in my resignation when I go back on Tuesday. It's taking like everything in me not to do that.
I mean, at this
Because
point, like,
my mom is like, no, 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 wait until you get another
yeah,
job. Wait till you get another job.
yeah.
But at this point, I kind of don't care.
I
It's getting
mean,
to that point that I was feeling like with my last job, where like I just don't care.
yeah.
I just want to quit.
And that one was worse, I will say,
That one was worse,
but
but
like
still,
if it's taking everything in you just to get there and like do your job, I feel like it's time to go.
I think it's time to go, Kelly. I think it's time for me to turn in my resignation. Did I tell you what
Yeah.
happened on Friday?
Uh I don't know.
Okay, so on Friday, apparently things are so bad that they brought in this guy who like works on like other like programs to like figure out
Mhm.
what's going on because like I said, my manager useless.
Yeah.
So he came in kind of unannounced. Like I was told that he was going to come at some point, did
Mhm.
not know he was coming that day.
Oh.
And so I was sitting it was very slow. Like it was the Friday before um what what holiday is this? Labor Day?
Labor Day?
Friday before Labor Day. Not as slow as I would have liked it to have been, but still slow nonetheless. And so
Mhm.
he comes in and he's like, "Hey, can I just like talk to you for a minute?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so we go in. I talked to him. He's like, okay, what's going on? Who's been doing this? What have you been doing? Blah, 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 blah. And so I tell him all of this. And he's like,
Hmm.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, some of the things that they're asking you to do is not within your job description. I was like, thank you. Thank
There we go.
you. He was like, yeah,
Thank
you shouldn't
you.
be. He's like, you really shouldn't be doing that. You're not a manager. And I was like, exactly. Exactly. Like
You're
someone
like,
is
wait, can you
finally
say that one more
listening.
time? I need to bring somebody else in to hear this
Someone is
because
finally listening to me.
right,
I was like,
right.
thank God. And then we brought up the like company I work for manager, her, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we had her at my old program. She used to work at our old program. We used to have problems with her too." And I was like,
Wow.
"Amen, amen."
Wow.
I was like,
Validation.
I feel so validated in this moment. I was like, "Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, yes,"
Oh
because I
my
was like,
gosh.
we weren't having all of these problems before she came. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Okay," and like how like into like the day to day stuff or both of your managers? I was like, not really at all. I was like,
Yeah, no.
not really at all. He was like, oh, okay. And so he's going to be talking to like the company who like I'm contracted to. He's going to be talking to them, figure out what's going on. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still leaving.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm still leaving. But yeah, thanks to this conversation with Kelly, I might just turn in my resignation when I go on Tuesday.
I mean,
And because I
yeah.
like my coworkers, I will give them a 2 week, but I'm out. I'm so sorry. I can't
Yeah.
do this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's hating your job and doing it anyway, and then there's being miserable at your job,
Yeah,
and that's you.
I'm getting to that point where I'm dreading going to
Yeah.
work. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On a happier note, though, yesterday I went out to what I call the old people hangout. Um, I think like once a month, like all the old people in the family want to like go out and do stuff. Last
Mm.
night they wanted to go to a bar where one of our cousins has a band or whatever. And so I went because one of my younger cousins went last time by herself. And I was like, oh, that's kind of, I felt sorry for her. So I was like, I'll go
Mm-hmm.
this time.
Mm-hmm.
I went, she brought a friend. I was like, I didn't need to come then.
You're like, I'm
And
leaving, actually.
and then Brandy also came. She came very late, but she also came. And so I was like, I didn't need to be here. I drank a lot, y'all. I had like
Sidebar, did you know you posted on Instagram last night?
I vaguely remember that. I think
Okay.
I was dancing while it happened.
All of it is just dark.
Floor. Yep.
Yes.
Um. Yeah. There was dancing. There were drinks. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I came home and ate Taco Bell and went to bed.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. But
I
yeah,
love that for you.
that was my week. Ups and downs. But at least I have a long weekend this weekend. I can relax an extra day,
I
breathe.
love that for us.
I love that for us. And then apparently people are stuck at Burning Man. And I work,
Again?
yeah, and I work at a tech company. So so like that's like their biggest like
Mm-hmm.
pool of people who go tech people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping it's going to be like a very easygoing week because everyone will be stuck at Burning Man because they went to the middle of the desert during torrential downpours, and so now they're stuck.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
here's hoping. But yeah, that's it for me.
okay.
That's it for me.
Hopefully
Okay,
it will be
Kelly.
better.
Hopefully this week will be better. 90% sure I'm turning in my resignation on Tuesday, but yeah. I'm also
Okay.
interviewing for jobs right now. I literally had an interview on Friday. like a second round interview on Friday. So
Ooh. Okay.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kelly. Okay, I think it's time to go over this movie. Take it, take it over.
Alrighty.
Go ahead.
Here we go. So this week we are going over My One and Only.
Yep.
Um, and this movie is set in the 50s. So we start this movie with George, who is looking at a car and causes a commotion when he says he wants to buy the car in cash. It's like some, I don't know how old he is, 15, 16-year-old. And he's like, yeah, I've got money to buy a car and I'm going to buy it.
I'm surprised they didn't just take it.
I know. I don't know why they caused such a fuss over a 15-year-old wanting to buy a car.
Right? He had the money.
He had the money and he was willing to pay it.
Yeah. He was like, I have it in
But
cash.
yeah, but the guy that he talked to, he like calls all the other salespeople to him. They're like, let's look at this 15-year-old try to buy a car. Um, and when one of them asks why he wants to buy the car, he basically tells them their life story.
Yeah.
Um, he says that his parents' marriage isn't perfect, and after Anne, his mother, found his dad, Dan, cheating, she's like, I'm out. I'm good. And so that's why he needs the car, so that they
Yeah,
can leave.
and yeah, and Danny should have known how serious. Like he was like playing it off like she wasn't actually going to leave. She was dead serious, and then you could tell she
Oh.
was serious because of how calm she was.
Oh, yeah. If you cause a fuss, that means you're still caring
You
about
still
what's going
care.
on.
She didn't care anymore.
No, she walked in, she saw the woman in bed, and she's like, no, stay there. It's fine. I'm just here
Right?
to get some stuff and go. She even
Mm-hmm.
helped her put her dress back on.
She did.
She's like,
And then
I
she packed up
I
her
so don't
stuff
care
and
anymore.
left.
Yeah. She's like, I'm out and there's nothing you can do to stop me. And so Anne takes the kids out of school and she doesn't know anything about her kids, by the way. She goes to the wrong school
She goes
first.
to the wrong school, and that principal or
Um,
whatever had to tell her the
right. Tell
actual
her where
school
to
that her
go.
children go to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And after getting the kids, she goes to a safety deposit box where she takes everything out of it and just leaves her ring. And that's where they are now are at the dealership, buying the car. And after they get it, George says he wants to stay in New York with his dad, but he decides to go with them anyway. Anne decides to go to Boston, and while she's there, she runs into an old boyfriend, Wallace, and they have dinner where he gets very drunk and
Yeah.
kind of loses it about wanting to borrow money from her.
He asked her for $75,000.
Right.
$75,000 in the 50s is equivalent to $858,682.52 today.
Absolutely not.
Would you just casually ask someone for almost $900,000?
No. I would feel bad just asking for a couple of $100.
Yeah, anything over like $100, I would feel
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
awkward asking someone about.
If it
So
was
to have
like
the
if it was
gall
like
to ask someone for that much
150,
money,
like I don't care who I would go and ask. If I've never borrowed money from anybody, but if I had to borrow money and I had to even ask for $150, I'd be like, I feel like I want to kill myself. Like I
exactly.
don't want to ask you for money.
I don't want to have to ask you for
Like
this right now.
I would rather do anything else. And it's not because of you, it's because of me. I don't want to ask for money.
Exactly.
So the fact that he says $75,000 and then she's like, "Whoa." And he's like, "No, no, no, it's okay. $50,000." Like, "Bro,
Right? Like, that's
that's
not better.
that's still a bunch of money."
That's
And
so
to
much
ask
money.
a woman for $50,000, to ask anybody for $50,000, how did he
Who-
think he was going to get that money?
No one has that just lying around.
No. I think even if you went to his buddies, they would have been like, "Bro,
That's a lot of money,
$50,000?
right?
That's a lot of
Like,
money."
on a good day, maybe I could give you 1,000.
Right.
Like, that's
Right.
it.
Like, bro, he's down bad. Down bad.
Hmm.
And so she's like, I can't lend you the money. I need to go to the bathroom and collect myself. And when she leaves, she goes back to the table and finds that Wallace is gone, and so is all of her money that she brought with her. So she complains to the restaurant. Um, and while she's doing so, she runs into Harlan. And very quickly after that, they get engaged. He's some sort
Yes.
of captain
Or general or something.
or
Who cares?
general something. He's
Um,
part of an armed forces.
yeah, also, that hotel was ridiculous. They were just like, I don't care that this man stole all of your money.
Yeah.
You still need to pay for this check. And I was like, what?
They were very unapologetic to the fact that she just got robbed in the middle of their
In the
restaurant.
middle of their restaurant. Insane.
No compensation at all. They're just like, yeah, somebody has to pay for this dinner and it's going to be you. Insanity.
Insanity.
So after Anne gets engaged, George complains to Robbie about how Harlan treats him. He calls him Georgie boy. Keeps slapping him very aggressively on the back. Um, and wonders like if his mom is mentally okay because this is crazy.
I mean, she's kind of not, but that's
Yeah,
neither here
well,
nor there.
right. At breakfast one morning, Harlan gets intense with George after he makes a private joke to Robbie about how seriously George takes on the idea of communism. And he gets real into George, but Anne's like, yo, it's he's just a boy, he's just a kid, he's just making a joke, it's okay. So that night, George tries to call his dad from Harlan's office, but only gets a random woman on the phone instead. I don't know how he thinks his dad is still the pinnacle of like parenthood when that's what he gets from his dad.
Delusion. It has to be delusion because
It
he's too old at this point to still have that like
right.
kid mentality that my father is the greatest man on earth. He,
Hmm.
he's being delusional.
Yeah.
I
Like
checked
I
out
get
of
it.
that very early in life. I was like maybe six. I was like,
Right.
no. So he's purposefully being delusional.
Yeah, he is. Because I don't even know how I would feel if like I tried to call my dad just for like help for something and you just get a random woman on the phone.
Yeah,
Like no,
delusion.
delusional. Like I know your mom's a little intense, but like she's way better than your dad.
That's not saying much, but still.
Yeah, right. Um, and George gets caught in Harlan's office. Harlan talks to him about him now going to be the man of the family once him and his mother get married, and
Hmm.
that George cannot be the top dog anymore. And he's like, well, whatever,
Where he's
you do
like,
your thing.
whatever, dude.
um, at the mall one day, Anne, George, and Robbie are out to do some like wedding shopping,
Hmm.
and they have $500 to spend. And when they see a group of disabled orphans, they decide to use the money Harlan gave them to treat the kids with something nice. We don't know what it is. Um, when Harlan finds out later that she spent all the money on some kids, he loses it. Absolutely loses it. And so George has to tackle him. And after George tries to hurt George, Anne's like, I'm done. We're out. We're gone.
You mean after Harlan tries to hurt
Yes,
George?
Harlan tries to hurt George. Sorry.
Yeah.
And Anne says that she's gone,
Hmm.
which is fair.
I will applaud her for that. A lot of women
Yeah.
during that time would have stayed anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
So I applaud her for having some sort of morals, some sort
Right.
of like respectability about her.
Bare minimum. It's the bare
Hmm.
minimum, but
It's the bare
it's there.
minimum, but I applaud her for it.
They go to a diner, and Anne figures out that she wants to go to Pittsburgh next. As they move in, George meets Paula and Bud at their new apartment.
Bud looks
Apparently,
so
Bud,
old.
he looks very old. They're
He
supposed to be
looks
siblings.
he looks yes, that's why I was like siblings, like 20 years apart maybe.
Right, right. Like, Paula, you were some kind of oops baby because the
Yeah,
age gap
cuz
between you and your brother is huge.
Bud looks like he's mid to late 30s.
Yes, he does. Like, I know white people don't age the best, but there's he's not you
That's a
know,
grown
he
man
didn't.
they have playing Bud.
That's a
That's
grown
a
man.
grown man. Like
Like I don't know
several
what they expected.
kids, a mortgage grown.
Mortgage. Um, and Bud has taken an interest in Anne because he thinks she's the most beautiful woman on earth. One day, Anne announces that she's run into an old boyfriend, Oliver, and that they are going to go out.
She's had a lot of old boyfriends.
Yeah. And
A
the fact
lot.
that she like counts on them to like take her out.
She has a lot of old boyfriends, and she has a lot of old boyfriends in different places. Like none of them are in the same place.
Yes. No. Like, girl, you definitely got
You
around.
got around.
You said I'm gonna live life and I'm gonna get whatever I can out of it, and good for you.
Yeah, she got around a la Tupac. Like
Yes.
she has hoes in different area codes, and I
Different area
love her
codes.
for that.
Mm-hmm. Especially in the 50s. Like, girl, you were
Hmm.
supposed to be married at like 18.
Yeah, good for you.
Good for you. I love it for you. So, George and Paula go to the drive in and kind of talk. And for some reason, she shows him her boobs and things get super awkward.
That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know why that had to happen, but it did. Later, we see that George is concerned about their money problems, but Anne's not concerned. She's like, I'm just going to find me a husband. He's going to take care of us. We're going to be fine. But after her date with Oliver, he makes advances on her. And when she says no, he keeps going, trying to like make out with her, trying to get her back to his place. And she's like, no. So he pushes her out of the cab and leaves her. We then see Anne pawning off some jewelry for extra money. And when George is out with Paula, he sees an ad for his dad, who's playing with his band in the same city. Anne goes to. We then see Anne going to a party from one of her. It's not an old boyfriend, is it? It's an old friend, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. His name is Charlie. And she gets invited out with him and his much younger girlfriend.
Hmm.
Um, and her and the younger girl kind of like have it out because she's pointing out that Anne's very old fashioned.
Hmm.
As Anne gets ready for the night, she sees George going out to see his dad, who is still convinced that he will take him back.
Yeah, this man who is on the road like 95% of the time. He's
Right.
like, "Yeah, we'll just go and live in New York together." I'm like, "Your dad won't be there. He is on
Yeah.
tour."
Right. Like, I don't know how much you even saw your dad your whole life at this point. George tells Anne that she is too old for Charlie because, she's got two kids. She just looks older or whatever. But she does not care. She's going to shoot her shot. George then shows up to the club and falls asleep waiting for his dad. When Dan sees him, he says that he wants to go back to New York City with him. But Dan's like, yo, I'm on the road for the next couple months. I can't do this with you.
Hmm.
Dan says that he sends money to Anne, but she sends it back and proceeds to talk badly about her. George gets upset, and before he leaves, he finds that his dad wasn't meant to be a father, basically, because he tells him.
Shocker.
He's like, "Yeah,
Shocking.
I wasn't meant to be a dad. Have a
Hmm.
good night." um, we then see Anne showing up to the hotel waiting for Charlie, and she waits there for a long time. And when they finally show up, she doesn't go to meet with them because she hears the younger girlfriend making a comment about her. She feels lonely and she talks to Frank, who she meets at the bar. And he says he's there to arrest her for solicitation and prostitution,
Like,
which
why?
is insane.
She
Right.
never solicited him.
No, she sat at a bar and waited for I don't know how long. And then when the person she was supposed to meet came, she didn't meet them.
Yeah,
Like, and then she talks to you and says she's just feeling lonely and wants to talk. She was not trying to get into bed with anybody.
right. At no point did she try to do that.
Nope. But she gets arrested anyway. And when she's in a holding cell, Anne calls Dan. But when she hears the commotion of him at a party, she doesn't say anything and just hangs up. We then see that Bud has come to get her. I don't know how that happened. Um, but when they get back to the apartment, he promises to not let other people know about what happened to her. Anne then talks with George about Dan and how he was a good father at one point, one very singular point in his life.
Probably like the
Um,
second George was born, he was like, "Oh my god, that's adorable. Held the baby." The next week, checked out.
yeah, he's like, actually, I got a gig in Chicago
Yeah,
next week, so I gotta go.
after the first long night of screaming and crying, he was like, "Oh, I'm done with this. This isn't fun
Yeah,
anymore."
essentially. Um, because George was talking bad about his dad, and Anne's like, you know what, you're probably gonna regret that one day. He's a good father, blah blah blah. But she does decide that it is time to go. As they pack the car, George sees Paula one last time as they make their way to St. Louis to see Anne's sister Hope. Dan goes to see Anne at the apartment in Pittsburgh, but finds it empty, and Bud tells him that they went somewhere west to go see Anne's sister. The group shows up at Hope's home, and it's very tense between them. Like, you can already tell that these sisters do not get along.
No.
Anne decides to get a job and gets fired the same day after she pours coffee on a man after he harassed her.
Hmm.
Which I think she's very valid for that, but
She also wasn't really
whatever.
a good waitress.
She wasn't a great waitress. I don't think I would be a great waitress. I
I
feel like I'd
wouldn't.
have way too much anxiety.
I wouldn't be either.
But yeah, she did. That man did deserve it, though, I will say.
Yeah.
A while later, she is applying for a job at a paint shop and gets hired after helping one of the ladies pick a color. And she is a great worker. I think they just exploit how pretty she is to get more customers in.
Hmm.
And she is pointed out to the shop's owner, Bill Massey. At school, George is praised for his writing that he did on his family and the trip that they've taken. And he's very happy about it. When the boys get home from school, they celebrate their mom getting engaged to Bill Massey, and Hope gets a little too drunk and goes on about how unfair her life is compared to Anne's.
Hmm.
She got messy real quick.
She did. Like, wow, she had some words to say about Anne, and
She did.
I was like, wow, the insecurity is really just popping out right now.
Oh yeah, she had some pent up insecurities, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna let them all out right now.
She was like,
I'm just
Anne
gonna
has
get drunk
everything.
enough.
Yeah, Anne has everything I want. She married a rich man. She had
Mm-hmm.
children. She's
Mm-hmm.
pretty.
Mm-hmm. And here I am stuck in St. Louis.
St. Louis with this man who has the personality of a cardboard box.
Yes, he's a kind man, but there's nothing much about
He's a
him.
very nice man.
He is.
But I can see that she's bored. I get it.
Yeah.
But is that also
Yeah.
not just like adulthood in the 50s? Like you're just bored?
Right. I mean, especially for a woman anyway. Like, what is
Yeah.
she gonna do all day?
Like she's not working.
And she doesn't have kids.
She doesn't have kids.
I'm sure her husband works during the day, so what is she gonna do?
Yeah, she just sits around the house all day with like nothing to
I
do. I understand. You're
Yeah.
bored.
Like, that sounds relaxing, but up to a point I would start to go crazy. I would need something to do.
Oh, if I could be if I could be her, I would be so happy. Quite
Mm-hmm.
literally, the thought of just not having to really do anything other than just like
Yeah.
clean up every once in a while and cook dinner.
Right.
That seems so just like that takes like no brain power. Like that would be
It
so
doesn't.
relaxing.
It doesn't. Like, at that, you don't have to worry about where the money is coming from. You don't have to worry about like budgets or anything. Your husband gives you money and you spend it.
You spend it.
And then you clean the house, you cook, restock the house with things that you need.
Hmm.
You're good.
That sounds amazing. At
Yeah,
least
and,
at this
and he's
point in
nice
my
to you.
life.
He doesn't beat you.
Yeah,
Like,
and he's
come on.
nice. Like, oh,
Like
the
that would be the
dream.
perfect marriage. Right. Leave me alone, be nice to me, give me money, let me cook every once in a while, let me clean.
Hmm.
I'm
Oh,
perfectly fine.
I forgot to tell you. Last night, my cousin like completely like fumbled a bag.
Did she?
She did. This
No.
super tall guy, like old guy, came up to her, and he was like
Mm-hmm.
talking to her and her friend, and I guess
Uh-huh.
he offered to buy them drinks, and they said no, and I was like, "Girl, no, what are you
You
doing?
always take a free
You
drink.
always take the free drink."
What are you talking about? You say yes, perfect, thanks, and then you yourself order it so you can see the drink coming to you. You pick up your glass, you
Hmm.
say thanks, and you go.
Yeah, fumbled a bag. Couldn't be me. I won't be doing that anymore. I
No, you
won't be
won't.
turning down free drinks. But
No, you should
yeah,
never.
never.
Ugh, I'm so sad for y'all.
I am too.
Um, but anyway, Anne, George, and Bill go to see Robbie in his play, but it's stopped immediately due to the weather. It looks like there's going to be a hurricane, and they have to stop it and let everybody get home.
A
And
hurricane in
Robbie
St.
is pretty
Louis.
upset. It sounded like he was talking about a hurricane, or not a hurricane, a tornado.
Oh, tornado. I was like, a hurricane.
Sorry. But yeah, so Robbie's pretty upset about that because he keeps getting the lead role in all of these plays at his school, but he's never been able to actually perform it.
Yeah, they move around too much.
Yeah, poor thing. So the family and Bill are out on a picnic when Bill goes to talk to George, and they talk about women, and he says the only thing you need to know is that women are either too hot or too cold. So bring a jacket or a sweater with you so that if they do get cold, you are prepared.
Hmm.
Sound
Yeah.
advice. I mean, that's not the only thing you should know about women, but it's a start.
It's a start, I guess.
It's a start, I guess. Um, and at the picnic, they are celebrating, their new engagement and you know, how good everybody's doing. When a woman shows up claiming to be Bill's wife,
Hmm.
a man then comes to see Anne and explains that Bill is mentally ill and that he's been with multiple other women, either engaged or actually married to. And that his whole life is a facade. Like he's not the actual owner of the shop that he runs. He's just some type of figurehead to make it look like to Bill that he's doing something. And that she will get paid for her trouble.
Getting paid to not get married sounds amazing.
I would take it.
Yeah.
I would take it. And I would
Also,
I would I would set how much I would need to. I'd play it up
uh
and be like, "Oh,
I'm like,
I'm
oh,
I'm
I'm
so
so sorry.
devastated."
I'm gonna need a little bit more than that.
Right. All my pain and suffering, and I have kids. They're going to be so
Yeah,
sad they're not going to have a new father.
they loved him.
$5,000.
Yeah.
$5,000.
Also,
Hell, 10.
what were they doing with that man?
Right.
Why were they just
Right.
letting him run around falling in love with women and then at the
Right.
last
And why
minute
didn't they show up? Why didn't they show up earlier?
earlier? They wait to
Or
the
why
last
don't they
minute.
they have somebody like watching him? Like they literally have him quote unquote running a business.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to be with him at all
They can't
times.
give him a
I
quote unquote assistant
Right,
to like
exactly.
make sure he's like staying within like his
Right.
perimeters.
Right. Make monitor who he's talking to, like
Hmm.
women and stuff like that, and like make it known to these women that he's married
Yeah,
and that
that
he
he's
needs to get
married.
home to his wife.
Yeah.
Like they did not think about this.
It's so weird.
Yeah. Either their whatever family he comes from has enough money that they don't care and they will willingly pay off anybody, or they just don't care about Bill that much.
I'm getting the feeling that they don't care about Bill that much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not surprised. So that night, Anne decides to leave, and says that he's staying with Hope and Tom. But Anne's like, no, you're coming in the car. You're going with us. But after proving that Anne isn't the best mother, he calls her a terrible mom, and she leaves. Her and
Yep.
Robbie leave.
Yep.
And George is surprised. um, Weeks passed, and George is surprised that his mom didn't come back at any point to get him. But he does get calls from Robbie every day telling them that they have started to pick up what they call day riders to make some extra money.
Yeah, she's like an unlicensed taxi driver now. And she's just picking up people and
Basically,
they're paying to go however long
yeah.
they need.
They're on their way to California, by the way, Anne and Robbie. And so one of the riders that Anne and Robbie picks up one day tries to hold them up, but Robbie shoots at the army guy that they have with him and manages to steal his girlfriend
Hmm.
and leave him in the middle of the desert. At the next rest stop, as Anne and Robbie are in the diner, they find that the girl that they took from the army guy robbed them anyway and went back to the army guy.
Yeah, which is
Yep.
why I don't understand why they took her. I would have just left her
Yeah.
there because
Yeah.
there's no way this man is robbing you and she's with him and she has no idea it's happening.
Right. Right.
Like, come
She's in
on.
on it. She's in
She's
on
in
it.
on
She
it.
knows about it. Yeah. There's no way you can hide that. So now they are just left with $67. Robbie calls George and tells him about what's happened. And he finds out that his mom left the money that she got from Massey with them to help like pay for the cost of him living with them. And Tom decides to give the rest of the money to George because he says he has to go see his mom.
Yeah, because what's her name? Hope?
Yeah, Hope.
She was like, "No, this is our money." And Tom was like, "No, it's money for him." She was like,
Right.
"But she left it for us." And I was like, "Girl,
No. She specifically left it for her son.
for her
Like, I know
son.
it's for you to use to help raise him, but it's
If
still
he's
for him.
leaving, if he's leaving,
The
he
money
should
goes
take
with
that
him.
money."
Right, right, right. But yeah, what a good guy Tom is, honestly.
Hmm.
So Anne and Robbie pick up George at a bus station, and Anne is surprised to see him. And they make it to California, and they stay in a very rundown like apartment complex. After a couple of weeks, Anne comes back from shopping one day to find Dan there, who found them by the postcard that George sent him. Dan asks if they want to come back to New York with him, and she says no, and that she doesn't love him anymore and she doesn't need him. She's fine by herself. And he leaves. We then see Anne, George, and Robbie are part of a film because she wants to get Robbie into acting. And after she gets her foot run over by a cart, she scores a meeting with the producer of the movie and he wants to see Robbie. Later that day, Anne gets a call saying that Dan has had a heart attack and has passed away.
Yeah. Your husband dying after you refuse to go back to him is kind of queen shit. Don't know what to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, it is.
He
I
literally could
believe
not
that.
live without her.
Nope. He heard I don't love you anymore and he's like, "Well, shit.
What do I do now? I
I
guess I gotta die.
I got to die." He's like, there's literally nothing left for me in this world, so I'm just gonna pass away.
I'm just gonna deuces.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have a little heart attack and just
Hmm.
pass away. Um, so George is very upset about that. The next day, Anne tells George that he's going to the funeral by himself because they have one like voucher on an airplane flight. I
Hmm.
don't know what she called it, but it was some type of voucher for like a grieving family member or whatever. Um, and so she says that he's going to go by himself and that he should. He then tells her that he's got a full scholarship to his old school in New York City and he wants to live there by himself and go to school. And she lets him. Um, George is surprised again that his mom let him go back to New York and go back to school.
He keeps doing this and then gets surprised when she's like, okay.
Yes, yes. Like, bro, you stated you wanted to go, and your mother is respecting that and letting you go, and you're like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
I guess since she made him leave New York, he was like, no, she won't listen to me. It's like, no, she just didn't want to leave you like alone in New York City
Right,
by yourself. Because
literally. She's not as bad a mother as you make her out to be. Like, she just
yeah,
literally didn't want you living by yourself in New York City and not
yeah,
like take care of yourself.
exactly.
At least in St. Louis, her sister was going to take care of you. Like,
Yeah,
there was that.
and now for New York, you have a plan. You're gonna stay with your friends. So like,
Right,
she's like,
right.
okay,
And she knows them, and so she's comfortable with leaving you there. And now
yeah.
you're surprised? I don't know, man. But once back in school, they do a little tell us about your summer exercise, and he tells them all the details about the time that he spent on the road with Robbie and his mom.
He did not need to do that and shouldn't have done that.
He didn't. He should
Those
not
people
have done
did.
that.
Those kids did not need to know all your business like that.
Yeah, and I don't think they cared.
No. I mean, I would have cared. I'm nosy, but
Yeah, right, right. Because I would have been like, he left mid school year last year. I need
yeah,
to know why.
I need to know
Tell
what
me
happened.
more.
And now he's back after his dad died. Like, I really need to know what
Right,
happened.
right. It's giving Serena Vanderwoodson.
Hmm.
Um, we then see Robbie filming for maybe a lead role or some kind of more important role in a movie, and it's very much not going well.
No, it's
He's
very
very stiff.
dry, very stiff,
Yes.
not great.
Um, and so when George comes to visit, I think he's visiting or he's planning on staying there. I don't know. He
Don't
shows up.
remember. He
He
shows up.
shows up on the lot. I don't know how he even made it on the lot, but he's there. And when he helps Robbie with the scene, he's like very convincing. Robbie loves it. And when Anne comes back in from taking a smoke break, she sees that George is now running the scene. We find out that George has now become an actor under the name George Hamilton. And Robbie is now part of the costume team because that's more his vibe anyway.
Hmm. Very random that
And
George just randomly became an actor.
right, like it could have just been a fluke thing where he was just good at that one scene. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what they saw, but they're like, that man's an actor.
He's like, actor. He's still in high school, but actor.
Right, right. Um, he's in small roles, but still, he's an actor now.
He's an actor now. And
And
he
Anne is there,
previously
so
said that he hated LA, but he's
yeah,
going to
he
be an actor
did.
now.
Now he's gonna be an actor. um, but Anne is there supporting her boys, and every time somebody tries to marry her, she's like, "No, I'm good. It's okay." And George finds that she didn't need anybody, and they didn't need anybody but themselves to take care of one another. And that is where the movie ends.
Yep.
Um, are you ready for all 4 movie facts I found.
Yep.
Okay, great. All right. So this story is based on the life of George Hamilton's mother. This whole thing is loosely based on that.
Okay. Who is George Hamilton?
So George Hamilton,
He's obviously an actor.
he's obviously an actor.
Okay.
Um,
Oh my God, this is the guy from can I say that movie? I don't think I can. But
which one?
we did I'm gonna have to bleep it.
Um, was he
Let me
the
look.
grandfather
Not the grandfather.
or the dad?
He I think he was the dad. Was he? No, that's not what I was thinking of. It's Casper meets. That's where he's from.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm gonna have to cut both of
Yeah.
those out, but
Yeah, you will.
yes. He played Desmond. Oh my
Yes, he
goodness.
did.
Yes. Okay, I know who he is now. I
Okay, good.
huge fan.
Because I was like looking through his stuff. I'm like, what would you know from him? But
Yeah.
yes, that
Yeah.
George Hamilton, his
That
mom.
George. Okay. R.I.P.
um,
girl.
R.I.P. girl. You did this for him. You got him in a one film with a ghost.
Hmm.
um, Second movie fact: this movie is dedicated to Merv Griffin, who started the project from idea to final credit.
Okay.
Third movie fact: uh, Harlan Williams is Dr. Harlan Williams, by the way, and his military service is never specifically addressed in the movie. He is seen wearing the insignia of the 45th Infantry, called the Thunderbird Division, and that's only on one of his uniforms. And this unit fought in World War II and the Korean War.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Fuck you,
And
Harlan, but
our
like whatever.
right, like you're awful, but you're a vet, so that stands for something.
Yeah, does it?
Um,
uh,
um, and our last movie fact: when Anne is walking down the street in LA in 1953 with groceries, there is a gay pride flag behind her. But the gay pride flag wasn't created until 1978.
revolutionary.
Revolutionary.
She's a revolutionary.
She's an icon.
She's an icon.
We love that for her. Okay, Jordan, here's the question: is this movie iconic?
Nah, it was cute,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
no.
it's a cute little movie, but it's not iconic, unfortunately.
Kelly,
What?
Kelly.
What?
Let me see if I can say this. I can. Um, the guy who plays Robbie,
Yeah.
he voiced Arthur.
What?
He voiced Arthur
Oh my gosh, what the heck? I have to
for
see this.
for season 7 and 8. He was Arthur. Iconic.
Oh my gosh, I love that for him. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that's iconic. Movie, not so much.
Yeah.
But I think I've seen like
um
clips of this movie on TikTok.
uh I don't think I have.
I see clips of movies on TikTok all the time.
Oh yeah, same.
I think I saw this one on TikTok.
I feel like the one that I get the most is that one Julia Roberts movie.
Which one? There's so
Um
many.
I
The one
know,
with
but
Susan
it's the
Sarandon. That's like stepmother
um
or something like that.
no, it's
I've
the
seen
one where
that one.
she's that scene where she's like, "Give me the case number, and I'll tell you everything about that family."
Oh, yes, I've seen that too.
Yes, yes, I feel like that's the one and I've seen that one come up multiple times.
Ooh, a movie I see come up all the time is that movie with Chris Evans where he's like taking care of his niece and she's like super smart. And then there's that scene where her grandmother takes her to go see like this math professor and she can't answer the problem on the board because he purposefully made it wrong. And so she's like, I can't answer that. But she doesn't say why she can't answer it. So they think that she doesn't know
Mm-hmm.
the answer. But then as she's leaving, she tells her grandmother it was unsolvable because of the exponents and blah, 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 blah. And so she goes back, she fixes the problem, and then she solves it. I've seen that.
Oh,
I've seen that so many times, Kelly.
yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Another one I see all the time is a movie about. I think it's called.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
what you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
I see a lot of movies on TikTok.
Yeah. I mean, people be posting like full movies on TikTok. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
It'll be like 50,000 parts, but they'll post the
yeah.
movie
You
on
have to
there.
watch it in like 3 minute increments. Yeah.
Okay, Jordan, what are your recommendations for this week?
Ooh, I have three good ones.
Hmm.
My first one is All Right by Victoria Monet off of her Jaguar Part 2 album.
Mm.
Excellent song.
Perfect.
If they had played it at that bar last night, I would have been dancing my um yeah, because last night at the bar they started playing some song. I think it was Drop It Like It's Hot. And I was just
Oh
like
yeah.
getting it. And if they had played All
Yay.
Right, it would have been even better. My second recommendation is "Keep Going Up" by Timberland, Nelly Furtado,
Yep.
Furtado, sorry, and Justin Timberlake.
I knew that was
Um,
gonna be there.
Justin Timberlake does a really good riff in like his like second verse, very good. And then my last recommendation is the Writings on the Wall album by Destiny's Child. It might be a perfect R&B album. It's most definitely one of the best girl group albums of all time. But
Wow.
I love the Writings on the Wall. You got So Good. You got Temptation, excellent song. You have Jumpin' Jumpin'. Like
Yep.
it's
I
such a
mean, that
good
is a really
song.
you get bop after bop on that album. I will
Bob
say.
after Bob after Bugaboo. Like what
Mm-hmm. You bugging
hit
what you
after
bugging who you
hit
bugging me,
after
nigga.
hit
I ain't
after
you.
hit. Like literally exit like it goes like there's so many hits on this. Say My Name. Like
Yeah.
what?
Bills, bills, bills.
Those I don't yes, I don't understand how you could have
You got
so much
jumping, jumping. Come on
how you could have
now.
so many good songs on one album. Excellent. And Beyonce wrote most of these songs. Just so you know.
It's so good.
So good. Please listen to it. What about you, Kelly?
Okay, so I've got two recommendations, and both of them are from when we went to the Coco Jones concert. They reminded me of these two songs, so
Okay.
I love it. So the first one is Pressure by Ari Lennox.
Mm-hmm.
What a bop. We
Mm-hmm.
love that song.
Great song.
Great song. And my second recommendation is Pick Up Your Feelings by Jasmine Sullivan.
Another great song. Yes, absolutely.
Love that song.
There was
Loved
a
being in the crowd when they're like, new phone. Everyone's like, who is this?
who is this?
What a
Um,
great song. I love Jasmine Sullivan.
during that whole like music thing that was going on, there was a Mario song that played, and I've still been
You
trying
still
to
haven't
find that
found
song.
it?
Still haven't found
Oh
it.
my gosh. I hate that for you.
I'm
Does this
determined.
mean you're going to do a Mario discography
I
listen to
guess I'm gonna
find
have
it?
to, because I can be determined. Not a lot,
Yeah.
but when I am determined, I will find it.
I mean, you got four albums that we know, like that we would know, and then one
Hmm.
that came out in 2018. So
Yeah, I'll find it. I'll
you will
find it.
find it.
And when I do, you'll know about it.
Yes. So yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. We have a Twitter and an Instagram. They're both at SYTYI Podcasts. Don't forget to send us
Mm-hmm.
your movie requests or your movie stories to our email, sytyi at gmail.com. If you have any more independent movies, please let us know.
Please.
Um, it's hard out here for a pimp.
Mm-hmm.
Like
You
I
don't know
have
the
a
struggle.
you don't know the struggle. I have a movie for next week, but I had to like scrounge for it.
I feel
So,
like we do that every week. We scrounge for movies.
and it's getting to a point where like the movie quality is just gonna start dipping and dipping and dipping. So please let us
Yeah.
know, please. And I don't want to force Kelly to watch like nothing but horror movies. So like we
I know. I feel like at this point the only safe like route is to do a bunch of A24 movies.
a bunch of A24 horror movies. So
Mm-hmm.
just like, please.
Please save me.
Speaking of the
I don't do
strike,
horror.
I can talk about Interview with the Vampire because like AMC signed an interim agreement, so I can talk about Interview with the
There we
Vampire.
go.
So yay, go watch that show. Um, don't forget to share us with your friends and your family. Subscribe to us on
Mm-hmm.
Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and rate and review us on Apple Podcasts with 5 stars.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone have a good week. I will update you guys if I quit my job. It's looking pretty likely. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, everyone have a good week. And stay iconic.
Have a good week. Stay iconic, y'all. Bye.